Hey, Shalom Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatham to all the brothers of Israel. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Aladam Bahashem Yahushua to all the sisters. This is the ISUPK Las Vegas Tuesday Brotherhood class under the one and only Commander Jayahana. Started at 125th Street, Harlem, New York, 1969. You understand? This is today. Our topic is going to be about what is life after life. Now, y'all might be wondering why I put it that way. What is that supposed to mean? And I'll tell you, or actually, sis, can you tell me what I mean by what is life after life? Like, okay, wait, say that again, Salakia. Right. So after you die, so what happens after you die? It said from just from the title, from what I'm asking, because the title is life. What is life after life? Live again. So what is that also insinuating? That what? The rejuvenation is real, but you know what? To take it even a step further, how do you prove? How can you prove that regeneration is real? Just keep it simple. You know, it's in the Bible. The Bible speaks about it, right? And that's exactly what we're going to go over today. Is regeneration that is found in the Bible. You understand? When you die, there is no such thing as, basically with the Christian church and led everybody to believe that, when you die, you go to heaven or you go to hell. But from what it seems like from, the Christian standpoint, mind you, is that when you die, no matter how wicked you were, how evil you were, what type of person you were, period, if you die in the Christian church, you're just going to heaven. You understand? Because, some child molester, some murderer, some, thief, whatever, homosexual, whatever, in the Christian church, when they die, everybody always says, oh, he in a better place now. He's with God. He's in heaven. Who the hell goes to hell then? I feel like the only person that I've ever heard anyone say that somebody went to hell is like when they talking about like Adolf Hitler or Stalin or, just anybody of that kind of nature. Those are the only people who go to hell. Hell, I'm pretty sure that even Genghis Khan went to freaking heaven according to Christians. You understand? And all he did was wage war, rape, and pillage. A whole lot like with the so-called. You gotta watch saying that with the oppressor, what the oppressor says, or you know what I'm saying? What the oppressor does, just rape, pillage, and just wage war. That's what Genghis Khan did. So of course, the Christian church is going to say that Genghis Khan went to heaven because, he did the same thing that, the oppressor does. You understand what I'm saying? So just so y'all know, we're going to start off with the book of Psalms, chapter 104, and we're going to start at verse 28. Before we actually kick it off, I just ask for those of y'all that are tuning in, Baba Kasha, make sure that you like and share our video. If you haven't already done so, make sure that you get on our YouTube page. You understand? We're coming out with new content. Our interviews. We broke ground, having camp out here in Las Vegas. You understand? Giving that breath of life to the, prophesying unto them dry bones. You understand? We post that stuff up on YouTube, and that's ISUPK Nevada. You understand? On our YouTube. So make sure that you like, share this video, subscribe to our YouTube, and then also on Facebook, ISUPK Las Vegas. Again, we sharing content on there as well. But make sure that you support this truth, support, this help this camp grow, so that way we can push out this word to the four corners of the earth. So like it's really important that everybody does their part. You understand? Um, but yeah, make sure that you like and share the video on Facebook, and also like the Facebook page, ISUPK Las Vegas. You understand? So with that, we're gonna get into the topic, or get into the scripture. So like it, the scripture that we starting off with, which is the book of Psalm, chapter 104, verse 28. You understand? So I'm gonna read it. Book of Psalm, chapter 104, verse 28. That thou givest them, they gather. Thou openest thine hand, they are filled with good. So right here, already, it's just starting off with, what the Lord does, speaking about how how he gives, and essentially he's going to get into how the Lord takes away as well. Damn, freaking fan, keep on the page. Verse 29, thou hidest thy face, they are troubled. Thou takest away their breath, they die, and return to their dust. So, verse 28 is saying, that thou givest them, they gather. The Lord gives you, and the Lord gives, and it's able to collect. The Lord gives us, essentially our nation, our food, everything that you have. The Lord gave you that, including your life. You understand what I'm saying? Thou openest thine hand, they are filled with good. Again, when the Lord opens up his hand to us, obviously he's opened up his hand to give us something for us to receive. That's life, your food, your water, everything that you have in your life essentially was given to you by the Most High God. You understand? Verse 29 goes in to say that thou hidest thy face, they are troubled. What do you think this means, sis? That when the Lord hideth his face, they are troubled. Who is troubled? And what does it mean by the Lord hiding his face? Okay. Okay, you can say fear. You got another example? Fear. Okay, that's not necessarily what this is talking about. Make sure you stay on subject, what the topic is. So, thou hidest thy face, they are troubled. What's another way? On topic, what's another way to say that you are troubled? No, because that's the same as fear. All right, so I'll help you out. Thou takest away their breath, they die and return to their dust. So when you trouble, when the Lord takes away his face or hides his face from somebody, and now you trouble, after we read the rest of it, what's another way of being troubled? What does it mean that you are troubled? What do you mean by your cover? Like your protection? Okay. Okay. Close. You almost there, but mind you, stay on topic. So yeah, okay. In time, when you come to a certain age, the Lord is going to take his face away. Period. Being sickly is basically where I was going, essentially in the ballpark of what I wanted you to say. When you become ill, when you become stricken with age, you understand, you start to be troubled. You being troubled is you coming, walking into the next step, the next step of life, the last step of life, which is you going into death. So you trouble not in a sense of fear. In this context, it's trouble in the sense of like, okay, you about to die. You understand? You troubled because you ain't able to hold your life no more. Essentially, you understand? Says thou takest away their breath, they die and return to their dust. Now, mind you, what is okay? So the Lord gives you life, and He takes life away from you as well, right? That's what this is saying, right? So, and you return to their dust. And you return to the dust. When you die, you return to the dust, right? What does it mean when it says that you return to the dust? Like, can you expound on that? It's not. Oh, are you asking or? Right. And so, how I want to put it? Okay. So when you're dead, where do you go? When you die? Okay, you get buried. You get put 6 feet under the ground. What happens to your body when you underground? It decomposes. What is that? What is part? Essentially, when your body is decomposing, what is it doing? It's you giving back. You know, your body is being put back into the earth, literally. You understand? With all the worms and the bugs and everything, eating your body. Everything is doing its part to return you back into the earth. Now, that's not necessarily what I was asking, though. What I'm asking is what is that insinuating? Because it says what is something that stands out with that part? It says, and return to their dust. What is something that should stand out? Uh, okay. You're going in the right direction with that, okay? Because there should be something that stands out. It says, thou takest away their breath, they die, and return to their dust. Now, mind you, in Genesis, what does it say in Genesis? I'm going to read it for you. So we're going to hop over to Genesis, the 2nd chapter, verse what is it 7? Okay, so this is the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Now I'm gonna jump back to Psalms 104 and 29. Thou takest away their breath, they die and return to their dust. What should be something that stands out? Okay, so yeah, he did give it, and right here in verse 29, he's taking it away. What else? Here, man. Okay, the dust of the ground, but what about the dust of the ground should stand out? Now, mind you, in Genesis 2 and 7, it says that the Lord basically raised up Adam from the dust. Now, that's going to be a different breakdown. What that actually means well, I mean, we can do a quick little, breakdown of that. That dust in Genesis is just saying, from a very low state. You understand? So it's kind of or not kind of, but it's a it's a metaphor because Adam was at a very low state. You understand? He didn't have the law, statutes, commandments. And that's what that breath of life was in Genesis 2 and 7. You understand that? But mind you, at the same time, we come up. It's still a what's the word for it? It still kind of has like a double meaning, I guess you could say. That's not the word I'm what I'm trying to say per se, but the being returned to the dust is you going, being returning to a very low state. You did. You understand? Before you was given life, you was dead. Just like before Adam was given that breath of life, before Adam received those laws, statutes, and commandments, he was dead. Everybody on this earth that does not have a law, statutes, and commandments is dead. So go ahead. Yeah, essentially he was the dry bone. Yeah. In Psalms, yes. It's literally directly speaking about death. Okay. Okay, yeah, no, right. Okay, so what should stand out to you though is the fact that it says a return, right? The fact that you return to the dust. So in other words, it's establishing a cycle of a give and a take. It's letting you know that time and time again, like you're gonna return. You came from a very low state. You came from death and you return to death. You come to life and you'll be back to life. So it's that same, you know what I'm saying? It's that the what's that movie? Lion King, the circle of life. You understand? Um, so now we're gonna read verse 30. Thou sendest forth thy spirit, they are created, and thou renewest the face of the earth. Now, what should stand out in that verse? And go ahead when you got it. Okay, what about that? Give me an example. Like, I'm a dumb Christian. Explain to me what renewing the face of the earth. Like, give me an example of. Okay, so birth. But mind you, I'm a dumb Christian. Mind you, Christians believe that when they die, they go to heaven and sit in heaven for the rest of eternity with God, just worshiping Him and always just being happy at all times. You understand? So that's what me as a dumb Christian, that's what I think happens after life. That's what happens when I die. I'm gonna go to just heaven, no matter what kind of wickedness I do on this earth. I'm just going to heaven. All right. So what about renewest the earth, the face of the earth? What about that should, like, why does that stand out to you? For what reason? Like, what does that mean? Give me an example. Give me an example of renewing something. Yeah. Yeah. Besides birth. Because mind you, I'm a dumb Christian. Dumb it down. Because I don't think, as a Christian, I don't think that, when you're born, that's you being renewed. You starting all over. This is your new character for this game of life. Okay. They renew every year throughout the seasons. Okay. That's an example. But a Christian will probably tell you, oh, but they're not really dead. That's just a form of hibernation to preserve their energy until it's the time of year again for them to flourish, this, that, and the other. Right? So try to give me another example, better, where you just can't dispute it. And it doesn't have to necessarily be about life. Because there's a lot of things that we renew. especially in 2021, in the digital age. Your what? When you renew your plates, how about, your Netflix subscription? You understand? But okay, so when you renew something, what does that mean? You're continuing on, but give me more. See, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Thinking a little bit too hard about it. It's so simple. To renew, break down the word. What does re mean? Huh? It, it, it's a prefix for back. Like rewind. When you rewind them VHS tapes that us dinosaurs used to have, you know what I'm saying? You rewind it, you're winding it backwards, right? So when you renew something, new means what? It's new. This hasn't been here before, essentially, right? It's but when you renew something, you're going back to being new. So it's like it's starting all over again, right? Does that make sense? So it's like when you're renewing your plates, from the time that you renew it, it's almost as if you just bought some new plates for your vehicle. When you renew your subscription to continue it, like you said, for Netflix or Hulu and all that other stuff that y'all be subscribing to, it's when you renew your subscription, make it as if like you just paid your subscription for the very first time. You understand? So it's the same exact thing with life with you. You understand? So when you grow old and you die, or hey, maybe you die of sickness at a young age, you die in a war at a young age, what have you, that's not the end. That's not the end all. You understand? You will be renewed on the earth. It says it right here in the Bible. You understand? So this right here, just these three verses that we read, verse 28, 29, and 30, already debunks that nonsense that Christians like to believe that when you die, you go to earth, or you go to heaven or hell. But of course, you all go to heaven unless you attempted genocide against the so-called Jewish man. You understand? That's the only way that you go to hell. If you ate off Hitler and Stalin, and I don't know who else goes to hell in their book, but you know what I'm saying? You understand? So we read it again, verse 30. So mind you, verse 28 and 29, just a quick little recap on that. 28 basically goes in to say that, the Lord gives you, your life. The Lord gives you, hell, everything in your life, including, most importantly, your life. You understand? The verse 28 goes in to tell you that the one that takes away that breath, the one that takes away that life and returns you back to the dust is the Most High God. This is all the Lord. You understand? And then verse 30, again, thou sendest forth thy spirit, they are created, and thou renewest the face of the earth. So he sends your spirit back onto the earth. He judges your spirit, essentially. Well, we just haven't read that yet. I believe I have that in my breakdown, so we should be able to get to that verse. But Lord, basically when you die, your spirit, your soul goes up to the Lord and he judges you for what you did. All right, you got to face the music. You got to face the Lord judging you. Then he sends you back to the face of the earth, and you're created all over again, but renewed on the earth. You're a baby all over again. Now, mind you, like that sci-fi stuff that the so-called white man, our oppressor, Salagi, the oppressor, is fighting, researching to make humans immortal. If I may, think about how terrible that would be. Because after a certain time period, you've done everything. You've experienced everything. You understand? But my thing is your body gonna be broke. I'm about to be 28 years old. You understand? I'm about to have my 28th spring, or my 28th summer, and my body's already messed up. You understand? I got back problems, I got hip problems, I got knee problems. You really think that I want to be immortal in this body? You think I don't ever want to die? I would much rather, and gone through everything that I've gone through and experienced. You understand? And this also includes, the good times that I had. I would rather give all that up to start all over again, so that I can be that, energetic ass 6-year-old kid, you know, just running just to be freaking running. Ain't got no reason to run, just running. Y'all see little kids, man, they got so much doggone energy and no issues with their body. They just be running, jumping around like, man, sit your ass down. You understand? You don't want that again. You want to be 30 for the rest of your life with, aches here and aches there, and you understand, issues with you want that? Like, I don't see how you would want that. Then on top of that, every hardship that you experience, mind you, I'm sure there's still going to be a way for people to die, because we all know how the oppressor gets down. He needs war. That is his biggest income, the biggest way that he funds himself is war. So people are still going to die, right? So you have to live in eternity in this flesh, in one body. And essentially, you're going to have people who want to stand up for a cause and fight against this, that, and the other. And you have to live with always missing that person. Because, there's some people that you just never forget, and you just never stop missing them. And that hole never necessarily heals completely. It still hurts because that person is gone. I don't see how anybody would want to, Salaki, I don't see how anybody would want to live an eternity in one type of pain, in the same pain. You understand? That sounds terrible. That sounds like hell to me. That is torture to me. Especially if you were Israelite, you a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man or woman. We went through something that we just want to forget. You understand? We all did. Why would you want to live forever remembering that terrible thing? Oh, I was able to become stronger and move past it. Okay, that's cool. Most High in Christ, that you was able to move past that traumatic event, that terrible event, but that don't mean that you don't still think about it. You understand? That don't mean that, all that pain is gone. You just learn how to cope with the pain. You understand? Just like when you break your arm, that pain is there even after you take them meds, them painkillers. You still have the pain. All it does is nullify it slightly, a little bit, where you don't think about it. It numbs it a little bit, essentially is what I'm saying. But that pain's still there. It's there. Yeah, you understand? Right. So just a quick little recap again. Salakia. That was the book of Psalms, chapter 104, verses 28 to 30. Just a recap on that. The Lord gives you life. He gives you everything that you have, including your life, your flesh, everything. Verse 29 goes in to tell you how, hell, he takes it all away. It's him who does it. Takes it all away, including your life. And verse 30 basically says that 28 and 29 is a never-ending cycle. Just them two. You can basically just read them two verses. If you want to understand how life works, read the book of Psalms 104, verse 28 and 29, and read it over and over and over and over and over and over, because that is your life. That is what happens. The Lord gives you life, then he takes it away. Then he gives you life, then he takes it away. You get renewed time and time again. You understand? See me one time. The bear. So we're gonna drop that and then go, and we're gonna drop that and go to, I believe this is Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 4. If you don't mind, let me get your phone so I can check and see if anybody is commented on the Instagram and stuff. And how's the video look, if you don't mind as well? It's good, like it's not upside down or anything. All right, cool, no problem. So we're gonna go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 4. All right, we're gonna read until 11. That's Facebook. Oh, see, damn, we did have brothers and sisters freaking participate. Hey, Salakia, so y'all. I'm using my phone to stream this right now on Restream. So Salakia, for those of y'all that were participating and answering my questions and whatnot. Now I can see it. If anybody has any questions themselves, I will go ahead and open up the floor for that. Y'all can post your questions in the chat, and I'll answer them. Mind you as well, I'll be doggone it. See, Apple's stupid to me. I don't know. I don't even know your code. Yeah, bring up YouTube for me real quick. And then how do you do the quick, like, awesome, because I was well. Hey, Shalom Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Baruch Atah, Officer Shabal, Salakia. Just now seeing come into the room. Just take it back to Facebook. Yeah, Facebook's fine. Just leave it there. All right, the water. Huh? Hey, it's right here. You got a timer on it? Oh no, I ain't gotta worry about it cutting off, do I? Okay. All right, that's fine. All right. Okay. So yes, I like it. I see you, Trooper, Taza Ward, Shalom Yahweh Princess Leah, Shalom Yahweh Shamari Latub Hashem Shai. Salakia, I do see your answers. Person, yes, he was on it. Most High in Christ, y'all was on it. Okay, so now we're gonna read the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verses 4 through 11. You understand? Verse 4. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. You understand? I mean, that's pretty simple. A generation will come, a generation will pass, and the earth is here forever. You understand? Verse 5. The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteth to his place where he arose. Now, who could tell me what is being established in these two verses so far? Like, what is being said essentially? Go ahead. That's an analogy? Okay, no, that's fine. No, right. Okay, no, yeah, no, that's exactly right. Because just like life, the sun will rise. That's you coming up into adulthood, and then it's gonna set. It's gonna go down. And it's gonna be gone. That's you dead, becoming old. You understand? That time for rest. You understand? And then it'll rise again. That early morning, dawn, as you being born again. Oh, baby. You understand? And then the cycle goes over and over. One generation comes and then it passes. These generations will continuously flow until forever, for eternity. Because what did it say? But verse 4, but the earth abideth forever. forever. So when will the generations end? Never. It'll never happen. You understand? Generations of Esau might end, or will end. So I get will end. That's that's prophecy. I bad your fault. You did that to yourself. You understand? Moving on, verse 6. The wind goeth toward the south, and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continually, and the wind returneth again according to his circuits. Okay, what's that saying, sis? What'd that just say? The wind goes to the south, then turns around and goes back to the north. So where did it start? It started in the south. It started in the north, goes to the south, then it turns about. There's an about face. It starts heading back towards the north. Even the wind is never ending. It's continuing. Keeps on blowing. It goes it starts from the north, goes down to the south. All right, this cycle's done. Go right back up to the north. Or so like, yeah, north to south, south to north. And then what do you think it does after that? The same exact thing. Goes right back down to the south. Turn right back to the north. To return to where it came. What did we read already that said the same thing, but just a different scenario? Okay, the sunset. What else? Okay, what else? Don't think just in this chapter though. Right. Exactly. Exactly. But take it a step back to verse 29, Psalms 104 and 29, where it said, you return to the dust. You started from the dust, you started from a low state, and then you return to the dust. You return to a low state. You return to death, right? It's crazy that even the air, the flowing of the air follows the same exact cycle of life. Y'all see that? Like you said earlier, the plants, trees, you understand? Trees, the flowers, all of that, they go through cycles of life and death. Even the wind does. You understand? I mean, hell, the trees and flowers, do they go to heaven when they die? Seems like they just come back, don't they? Think about that. You understand? We're gonna read on. Verse 7. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers come, thither they return again. What's that saying? What did that just say? All the rivers run into the sea, but the sea is never full. Why is the sea never full? And where was that? Get back to the river. That same water that y'all, swimming in the ocean, that's the same water that you would be swimming in if you were to go up to a river. It's the same water, essentially. Gets altered, yeah, sure. But don't you think that you get altered every time that you return on the face of this earth? You understand? Water is always moving. Khan says, yeah, water is always moving. Life is always moving. If water has a process of regeneration, if the air, mind you, we talk about the air, the wind has a process of regeneration, of returning, of coming back and forth. Why wouldn't we? Now, mind you, as well, it's plain as day to see it with plants. But why is it that when it comes to us, all of a sudden everything is different? You understand? Like how to, like I said, what the Christians believe that when you die, you go to heaven. So what? Where the dogs go? Where's that cat go? Where's that elephant go? That quite frankly, you Christians just killed, murdered, just for the sake of gain, mind you. Going to heaven? Nah, eventually that same elephant will return. Is he gonna have the same deformity? Let's say that elephant had a half a trunk, and it's got some sort of tumor that kept its trunk from fully developing, and this, that, and the other full length. You think that when that elephant comes back, it's gonna be the same way? Nah. Now, so far, well, actually, I think we do. Let me see. Oh no, we do get into that. So never mind. I'm not gonna jump ahead. All right, so we're gonna read on now. Mind you, generations on the earth abides forever. The earth has immortality, right? The earth has immortality. Right, exactly. It'll be renewed. The earth has immortality, but nothing on this earth, nothing on the earth has immortality. Everything goes through a cycle, including the water, including the air. The list goes on, right? Verse 8, all things are full of labor. That's to go into what you just said, Leah, that, water is always moving. My response to that was life is always moving, right? That's what verse 8 just said. All things are full of labor. Everything is continuously working in the works. You understand? In the works of essentially the cycle of life. You understand? Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with nor the ear filled with hearing. Now, you want to try to take a stab at what that just said? Well, seeing is believing. Mm-hmm. Okay. No, you know what? That's excellent. That's excellent. But mind you, it says all things are full of labor. Man cannot utter it. What is it? What is it that he cannot utter? Now, mind you, make sure you just stick on the topic. Stick on what we reading. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily the belief. Utter it. Like what is the word utter mean? With two T's, not two D's. Speak. Just say it. Man cannot say it. Right? The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. So, like you said, basically seeing is believing. Man can't really talk about it because we're so stuck on what we can see is what we can understand. And that's what we speak about. You understand what I'm saying? So you was right. You was right. Okay? You was right. Verse 9. The thing that hath been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. That should be a song right there. That was bars right there. Wacky. Man, think you could break that down? The thing that has been is that which shall be. What's that saying? What? Okay. When you were born, were you a new thing under the sun? Why? You had you had been. You no. Just, do you understand what I mean by you had been? Been is referring to past tense. You had been here before. You had been, right? So because you had been, this is why you are here to be. So you are here to be here to now. So the be is currently. The been is the past tense. So the things that had been will be again. Does that make sense? Um, and that which is done is that which shall be done. So what's that saying? Exactly. But what was done before will be done again. Now, what's one thing that we are pushing for in the ISUPK that has been done before that we were, that we're pushing to be done again? Okay, you're close. When we follow law, statutes, and commandments, what happens with us? Huh? No, now see, now you step away from it. So the sister Leah said, time is continuously moving, so things that have happened will happen again. Right. What is something that has happened before that the ISUPK is pushing for to happen again? That we are moving forward towards happening again. Then you said segregation and born again. Okay, so since it says segregation, I mean, essentially, yeah, we're going back to segregation. Yeah, because we ain't gonna be, unified with the other nations like America is. We ain't doing that. But that's not what I'm looking for. Super Taza War said, born again. It's found on that Bubble Kashad. Go ahead. No, come on. Come on. Don't ever be afraid to be wrong. We are in class to get right. You come to class wrong to get right at the end of the class. So go ahead. So you was right with lost a slice. Go ahead. Okay, it's found on back on top. What you mean by that? Okay, so back in the kingdom. So when we in the kingdom, where does that put us? Oh, you said on top. So what does that mean? What do you mean by that? I'm a dumb Christian. When you answer my questions like I'm a dumb Christian. Rulership. We pushing back for rulership because that had been done before. Born again in the sense of off with the old and on with the new. I mean, you're right about that, but like I'm not too sure what that response is to. If that was something I had said earlier, or if that was to my current question, then that's not what I was looking for. But I mean, what you said is, it's right in itself. But you know what I'm saying? Not to my question. You had something? Oh, okay. So, what had been done before, Israel was in rulership before. That had been done. And that's what the ISUPK or the Commandant General is pushing to happen again. This is what the ISUPK is striving for, is for us to be in rulership. You understand? For us to get these crowns, for us to be crowned by Yahweh Shai Mashiach, or Jesus Christ in the English. You understand? Verse 10, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new. It hath been already of old time, which was before us. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something crazy that, you might have known this, you might not have. And you can look this up for yourself. Oh, it's a lot. You might hear like get clogged. Did y'all know that we have recording devices back in ancient Egypt? We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have a recording mic and stuff like that. Okay, so you nodded your head. You know how they recorded the devices? Like some of the recording devices were back in ancient Egypt when Moses was walking the earth? Go ahead. A form of long distance communication. Right. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I don't remember what the device actually was aside from, the bird. But I know what you're talking about. Hey, Shalom, how about you? Young man Jones, good to see you. But no, they had a recording device. It was just a bass. People would record their voices in a vase that was crafted in a certain way that today it still works. Today you can still hear the voice. Thousands of years ago of a recorded message, essentially, from thousands of years ago. It still works today. That's how good it is at that. What else was there? They had picture movies in ancient Egypt. Like a projection where they learn how to trap light into a device and then push it out so that you can essentially have a picture movie. Now, it's not movies like what we have when we go to the movie theater, or if you got a home theater, this, that, and the other. It's not like that. But they had a projector all the way back in ancient Egypt. You can look these things up. You understand? When you actually dive into history and you get the facts out of history, the crazy thing is the things of fact, all of it reinforces this. Anything that is actually true reinforces this. Mind you, look at what happened at the time of the Maccabees. That happened again at the time of the Renaissance. That happened again currently. Do you know what the three-way connection is that was spoken in the Maccabees, that was spoken during the Renaissance era, or that happened in the Maccabees, that happened in the Renaissance era, that happened today? Do you know what that is? What had happened? Okay, oppression is actually right around the corner. There's a reason why the oppression was even able to happen. And it's a big reason why we have the oppression that we have today. It's been the same thing time and time again. Okay, we weren't in rulership, right? But what's part of the reason why we fell out of rulership? I feel like that question might deter you. Okay. So when you're not following the ways, what are you essentially doing? You're transgressing the law, which is sinning. What is transgressing the law? Also, what's another way of saying that? What is transgressing the law? What's another way of saying transgressing the law and sinning? Like, what's another way to say those two things? Okay, yeah, disobedience. But when you have disobedience to who? To the Most High. There you go. Most High. They didn't follow. You right, John. You right, young man. But yeah, it's disobedience unto the Most High. So when you have disobedience to the Most High, what in turn is that saying? What are you saying when you go against the Lord? Or what are you doing when you go against the Lord? So if you're serving, there's no gray area. Either you're serving the Lord or you're not. Okay, you can say that, but that's not what I'm looking for. It's either you're serving the Lord, either you're serving the Most High, or you're not. So if you're not serving the Most High, what are you doing? You serving anything but the Lord. You go against the Most High God, you go against the law, statutes, commandments, you might as well just say that you serving other gods. You serving something else, right? So that in itself is part of the reason why, or that in a nutshell is why we fell from our rulership, like how y'all was bringing out. You understand? Go ahead. Because you stop serving the Lord. It's that simple. Like, think about it. With King Solomon, why was the Most High God moved to wrath with King Solomon? Essentially, did he himself worship the gods? His wives did, and he went to please them, right? I mean, you ain't supposed to do that. Exactly. Exactly. You understand? But okay, so like I know we kind of okay, kind of went a little off, but off sidetrack and whatnot. But you understand the things that had already been done and created, they on this earth all over again already. You understand? The things that we already have now, it's already been here. It's already been here. You understand? Recorded, it don't matter. Way of communication, recording, goddamn, hell, they even try to say that emojis. They try to tie emojis to, do you know what? The hieroglyphics. They're a bunch of emojis. Because if I could be, I could be incorrect. But depending on how the hieroglyphics are set, that bird might mean something else. Ain't that the same thing with, our emojis? Because what is that one emoji where it looks like everybody thought it was praying hands, but in reality, it was a high five? It's a manifold emoji. Depending on how you put it, depending on the context that you use it, determines what it even means in the first place, which is part of the reason why they can't fully decipher them doggone hieroglyphics. Because mind you as well, who's deciphering it? So-called white man. The oppressor is doing it. I mean, hell, he can't understand, what do they call it? Ebonics, our language, what we, the way that we speak. That's Ebonics. It's just another language. Nigga, I'm speaking English. It's just, I'm sorry that I'm better at metaphors and idioms than you are at your language that you gave me. I spiced up your language. My bad, your fault. You know what I'm saying? Because mind you, we the one who spiced it up. We know they ain't gonna do it. They don't put seasonings on nothing. So like you. But so like we got a little out there. So yeah, verse 10. Is there anything whereof it may be said? See, this is new. It hath been already of old time, which was before us. Like I said, man, like anything we have today, we had it yesterday. You understand? And we're gonna have it tomorrow. It might look different, just like the way that you looked yesterday is different than today, and it's gonna be totally different than tomorrow. And that's your yester life, your today life, and your afterlife. Same thing. You understand? Verse 11. There is no remembrance of former things. There's no remembrance of former things. All right. Neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. What's that saying? Okay. What do you mean by that comes with that? Because I think I know what you're saying by that, and if you're saying what I think you're saying, you're right. So don't correct it. Tell me what you mean by that. Okay. All right, then no. Let's read it again. Let's read it. No sweat. Let's read it. Read it again. The first part, you right. You 100. You right. You 100%. All right. There is no remembrance of former things. So that's where you was right. Neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. Expound on that. Expound on that. What do you mean you're not going to remember anything that's in the future? You're not saying, okay, I see what you're saying. So you're not going to remember a prophecy? So like you have to relearn a prophecy each life? Because whenever were you born and you already knew how to ride a bike? You didn't. Okay, so in this life, do you know how to ride a bike? Can you ride a bike? You can't? We'll talk about that after class. You know how to swim. You can swim decent. I seen you. I seen you. Okay. So now, did you know how to swim in your last life? Ah, okay. So we already established that. We already understand that part, right? Because Sister Leah, that's exactly it. I'm gonna read your response in a second. So um, you don't remember what happened in your last life. So when you go into your next life, are you gonna remember this? Are you gonna remember us teaching, me teaching you this conversation? Are you gonna remember this conversation tomorrow though? If Lord allow you still have your breath. We grow old together, and we both 102 years old, sit on the front porch. Is it possible for us to remember this conversation today? But now your next life though, you gonna remember that conversation. Let's say that you died in that chair when we was reminiscing on this class, right? You died, and let's say the Lord just said, you know what? As soon as you die, I'll send you right back. Like, you good. I already know your life. It's real simple. There's nothing to even judge, like, because you was perfect. I'm just gonna send you right back. As soon as you're born, you're gonna remember that? No, I don't even remember when I was born. So what about when you start to have the ability to remember things as you grow older? Are you gonna be able to remember that? No, exactly. But that's my point. That's exactly what this is saying. Is that your next life, you're not going to remember this. Just like how you don't remember your last life and all those other lives before, you're not going to remember this life in your next life. Okay, all right. Well, so like, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you when you said next life. My ears like kind of getting clogged. So no, Salaki, Salaki. And you also know I'm deaf. Well, all right. So the sister Leah, she said, in your next life, you won't remember anything from this life, and in the life following that one, you won't have the memory of anything from the next life. But, you know. Oh, so okay. So you said that most times, you know, Salaki. You understand? Now, my question is so far, do we have any questions? Is there any misunderstanding so far? We all on the same page. We understand that that page is, you know, basically, mind you, what book are we reading from? Go ahead. Reading from the Bible. What's another name from the Bible? Is the answer I was actually looking for. What's another name for the Bible? What is the Bible called? It? What is the Bible referred to in the Bible? Ah. Oh, see, no. Breath of life is like, ah, okay. You say breath of life. This is a breath. This is a breath. Okay, it's life, but this is what? This is what? It's a book. Book of life. Get it, sister hand. Most High Christ. That's exactly it. The Bible is the book of life. Because mind you as well, what did the Lord say that He is the God of and not the God and not the God of? But no, so like He didn't say He's not the God of something. I need to fact check that. Actually, I'm gonna do that real quick. But what did the Most High God say that He was the God of? He's the God of war. You read on that. That's one thing. But stay on topic of life. The God of the living. You understand? He's the God of the living. So no, I know he said it in, let's see, I think I want that. Ugh, your phone. Not only is it an Apple, but it's also really strong. Oh no, I'm on it right now. No, yeah, I'm 12. It's just it's on itty bitty. Hey, and Salaki, y'all, for my sidetracking and taking, you know, this time. I'm taking to look this up. Oh, here we go. Read from Mark chapter 12, verse 27. He is not the God of the dead, but the God of the living. Ye therefore do greatly err. So if he's not the God of the dead, but the God of the living, now mind you, what is one thing that is spoken about a whole lot throughout the Bible? Is when referring to the God who God is the God of. Huh? What is our genealogy based? Who is our genealogy based off of? Huh? Who? Speak up. Okay, Jacob. That's 1/3 of it. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God, I am the God of your forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, mind you, if he's the God of the living and not the God of the dead, but he's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, what does that mean? Today. What forefathers? Or what? Or what? They're here today. How? Like buried in the earth? Oh, I believe it. Yeah, they alive. Because God is he's only the God of the living. He's not the God of somebody that's already been dead. What use are you if you dead? You understand? Now, mind you as well, think about it. Like what you had said earlier, that God is a God of war. What use are you to me if you're dead? What use are you? How can I use you? What can I do with you? You're dead. Right? Now, mind you, who was dead in Genesis? Who was dead in the beginning? Adam. But what did the Most High do? He made him useful. How did he make him useful? Say it again. Gave him life. He brought him to life. Now I can use you. What I'm gonna do? Take a corpse, slap him in the head with his hand. I mean, the Lord like the Lord has the power to do that, destroy an entire army with just one dead corpse, if he so chose. I mean, a little crazy, but that ain't how he want to do things. You understand? That's not how he's trying to do things. He wants a representation of himself on this earth. And that representation is a living soul. And that living soul, why is it a living soul? Because they follow the law, statutes, commandments. So because you follow the law, statutes, commandments, everything that you do is almost as if the Lord himself did it. You understand that? You understand? Okay. So, like, do you understand the breath of life and this whole uh I almost said rejuvenation, regeneration so far? Most High Christ. So now we're gonna move forward actually. And we're just gonna go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 15, which says, that which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and God requireth that which is past. What is it that he requires? What is it that God requires? What do you think the Lord requires? Huh? Okay, according to the scripture, stay on topic. Yeah, he requires our obedience. Right. But what is it that he requires? Actually, you know what? You more on track I than what I failed to realize. So he requires our obedience. Well, I almost lost my place. Like, which is okay. So he requires our obedience. It says that God requires that which is past, our obedience. But what else? Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Now, yeah. You know what? Actually, man, now that I actually think about it, your answer is better than mine. So, shalom. What does it say here? Most High have Christ. No, that's excellent. Now, mind you, as well, we just read this in Ecclesiastes, the first chapter. Now we're on the third chapter, right? Now, mind you, it also says in Isaiah that we're supposed to read precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. Why do we do that? Because, right. So you can read something here and read it there, especially because now, mind you, this is in the same book. Essentially, it kind of repeated itself in a sense in the same book, right? But when you go from one book to another book, you got to think if Moses is saying it and Christ is saying it, what does the law say? Now, mind you, back then there wasn't necessarily video cameras like how we have right now, right? So how is it that we as Israelites um, testified for someone's alibi? Okay, so let's say, for example, we'll use that sister in Matt. I believe it's a Matthew. The sister that got accused of adultery, right? Let's say it was a sister that got accused of adultery. She was caught in the act, mind you. But what actually, according to the law, what seals the not prosecution? What makes it true according to the law that she did it? If someone said you did something or you owe them something, what have you, right? What would make it true? What makes it true according to the law? Witnesses. 2 or 3 witnesses. Which is why a lot of times, especially when you're reading in the obviously, especially when you're reading in the New Testament, they say the same thing that was said in the Old Testament. Because mind you, there was no New Testament at the time that Christ was walking the earth. It's being written, right? But also the what were they reading? But what were they reading? The Old Testament. So they were going off of that law. Do you think that anything in here was written that did not have enough witnesses? No, right? Because first of all, that's the what? That's the law. But secondly, as well, ooh, that slipped my tongue like that quick. Like, but Salagi. But secondly, as well, what's really common throughout the New Testament? They repeat themselves. Now, not the person who wrote the book. Because what you find in Matthew, you find in Mark, you find in Luke. And what you find in them 3 books, you find in Matthew. Or you find amongst each other. They repeat, it's repeated time and time again. So according to the law, if something is said time and time again, what does that mean? It must be true. Right? Because, like, mind you, think of it like this. Who do you think the people were? How many people do you think it was that seen those mermaids at that time of the sea, the time of, them faring the sea and exploring the sea? How many people do you think that was that claimed they saw a mermaid? When I mean, a few, you only need 2. You need only at least 2 or 3 people to say that something had happened to make it true according to the law. But how many people you think actually saw a mermaid? It was one dude, some crazy ass dude that probably survived the shipwreck. Something messed up the entire doggone ship, and he's the sole survivor. And he also saw Cthulhu and sirens and this, that, and the other. But it's just you. But you know what? It just took one little goofball. Like, oh man, what he just said must be true. Right? So now mind you, oh damn it, I went out of order. I didn't look at my doggone notes. Okay. So Baba Kasha, grab me another gin. Not a gin. Ginger ale. Yeah, ginger ale. Salagi. So now Salagi, I kind of went out of order. I was supposed to read this second after we had read Psalms 104, 28 through 30. Just for the context, you know, I'm gonna give y'all a quick little recap on that, especially for those of y'all that are just now tuning in. You know, Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shai. You know, I've seen the numbers is growing a little bit. Yeah. No, I got upgrade. What? Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shai. For, you know, just to say that these numbers is growing, which means that, you know, for one, y'all doing y'all part to push this, you know, basically push this truth to the four corners of the earth. You know what I'm saying? These new people that is coming in, like it's all of us coming together to do our part. You understand? You pushed out the invitation, and I'm just being the mouth to speak the word of the Lord, essentially. You understand? That's basically the relationship that you and I are having right now online. So keep that in mind, that you are still a major part of, you know, the Lord's work just by you hitting that share button. You understand? But just a quick little recap on the book of Psalms, chapter 104, verse 28 and 30, for those of y'all just tuning in. Basically just goes in verse 28, goes in on how the Lord, you know, gives us everything that we get, all the way up and down to the fact that he gives us our life. Verse 29 goes into how he basically takes away everything as well. And then verse 30, you know, lets us know that that's a repeating cycle, even for the individuals. You understand? Because verse 30 says that essentially he sends our spirits back forth to the earth to be created, which means, and also for you to renew the earth. That's me paraphrasing it, but that is what the scripture says, paraphrasing in my own words. You understand? And for those of y'all that are just tuning in, you know, you can go and see for yourself. Again, that was the book of Psalms, chapter 104, verses 28 through 30. Now, we're going to go to the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 14, verse 35. I said 14, right? Yeah. Oh, no, so like we're going to start at 34. See, I got to read my side notes or I mess myself up completely. 2nd Esdras, chapter 14, verse 34 is where we're going to start. While the sister's writing in her notes and catching back up, just want to take a quick moment, just really quick, to remind y'all that haven't done it already. Make sure that y'all like, share, and subscribe to the ISUPK YouTube page, ISUPK Nevada. Make sure you like and share this video. You know what I'm saying? Keep on, keep that domino effect going. You understand? Keep bringing these brothers and sisters in. Let's get these numbers up and whatnot, so that, you know, that way we can all come together and see, you know, whether it's virtually or even physically, this school build. You understand? We all have a part, and there's no role greater than the other, because all of us doing the smallest thing is what accomplishes the greatest goal, and that is for us to, you know, be able, our nation, to be able to tear away from loving, for one, loving a nation that hates us, actually a whole world that hates us. You understand? And then, but also more importantly, so that we can, our entire nation has the opportunity to worship the Most High God the way that He intended us, and that's to be able to come back to the law, statutes, commandments. And quite frankly, the only way that you can actually do that is if you're following under the one and only commanded John Yohana. You understand what I'm saying? But and then so YouTube is ISUPK Nevada. Make sure you like, share, thumb up, or even thumb down. Hell, I really don't even care. And then make sure you share the video, and then also subscribe to the ISUPK Nevada page. And then for those of y'all that haven't done it, make sure that you get on to our Facebook page, like and share the video, and then also make sure you like the page. You understand what I'm saying? So with that, we're gonna get back on topic and the water for y'all, listening and also doing your part. For those of y'all that have done it, those that haven't, man, quit slacking. I'm just playing, but quit slacking. 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 34. All right. Therefore, if so be that ye will subdue your own understanding and reform your hearts, ye shall be kept alive, and after death ye shall obtain mercy. How do you think that you obtain mercy after you did? Now, mind you as well, we did kind of skip over this, like I said, but mind you as well, I literally, if I may, real quick, and I know I've been doing it all night, and I'm going to do it again, sidebarring and whatnot, personal stories. I was talking to this Israelite sister. She's Pentecostal, right? And she was telling me how basically some of the scriptures that how Christ and the Holy Spirit and God are all one, like what solidified that. And so without even having to pull out scripture, I just wanted to hit it with logic. I was like, so what you're telling me is when Christ went to, the night before he got put on that cross, he was praying to himself to say, take this cup away from me if it is your will. So in other words, he decided to himself, you know what, you're gonna go through this, but I'm gonna plead with me. I'm gonna plead with me to take away from the fact that I have to do this for my nation. I'm gonna plead with me. Or how about the fact that he sits there and calls himself Father? And then I told her, I said, you know what, the God that you worship is schizophrenic, if that's the case, if that's what you follow. Now, mind you as well, she remained what's the word? She was steadfast in her belief. You know what steadfast means? What it means to be steadfast? She stood strong, firm. Yeah, to stand firm in what she believes. All right. And I wanted to insult her or anything. I just wanted to make sure that she was able to follow. And so, in a sense, I can respect that. You about something, man, don't play that teeter-tottering game, playing on the fence where you kind of here and you kind of there. You're going to be hot, be hot. You're going to be cold, be cold. That's scripture. That's in, I believe, what, Revelations? I believe that's in. That, the Lord, huh? Yeah, don't be, I would rather you be hot or cold, because if you, and this is me paraphrasing, but if you lukewarm, if you in between, if you gray, either be black or white. If you gray, I'm just gonna spit you out, and I'll never know you, right? But so on that context, I respect her being steadfast, okay? But at the same time, was it say, therefore, if so be that ye will subdue your own understanding. What's that mean? Okay, not necessarily giving up what you know, but like you're on the right track. No, go ahead. Do you think the ISUPK is open-minded? Okay. So you come, so like, say that one more time. That last part. When you come into the truth, say again. Okay. Yeah. No, exactly. You subdue it. You you have your understanding of what the Bible is, but because you coming into the truth, you subdue it. You oppress it. You put that away so that you can get this understanding. Okay. So you write in that context. No, I mean you write period. And reform your hearts. What does it mean to reform your heart? What is that saying? That's your mind. Your heart is your mind. So changing your mind, exactly. To reform. Again, we kind of talked about that earlier, to break up words so that to help you understand what the words mean. What does re mean? What does a prefix re mean? Back. So it means to go back. So it says reform. What does form mean? To give shape. A form is a shape, to give shape, essentially, right? So reform it, to go back to giving it a new shape. Reshaping the way that your mind works. You understand? Putting it in a way where before the truth, you was like, man, ain't nothing wrong with being a homosexual. I'm a homosexual. This, that, and the other, right? But then you discovered the truth, and now it's like, man, homosexuality is wrong. Like, yeah, sure, I used to do it before, but homosexuality is wrong. And that is not me saying that I did. Mind you, this is just an example, because especially because of the fact that we in uh, Pride Month. You understand? Everybody got that doggone pride for being a homosexual. You understand? You know what? This scripture is literally for you. You thought you understood that God, you saved under grace, and that God loves just anybody and this, that, and the other. Man, listen, if you would just subdue your understanding and reform your mind, you understand? Essentially, this kingdom will be for you. Is what it all boils down to. This promise that was given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob can be for you. You just have to reform your mind. You had something to say. Oh, okay. All right, no sweat. So 34. Wait, right? Yeah, 34. So when you reform your hearts, ye shall be kept alive. So again, back on to them homosexuals. You're not going to get AIDS. You're not going to get syphilis. You're not going to get something that will kill you. You understand? And mind you as well, those diseases still go for the heterosexual male and female as well. Because for the man, you know what I'm saying? If you reform, subdue your understanding of these scriptures and reform your heart, tell me what that man is going to learn. Tell me what I learned when I subdued my understanding and changed and reformed my heart when I started learning about the truth. Go ahead. When it comes to, go ahead. Well, now I believe that sex is marriage. Okay. What else? Or no, that's like it. Now I know that sex is marriage. Go ahead. Right. That's where I wanted you to go. So because I understand that sex is marriage, I'm not gonna whore out my sisters no more. So what does that mean that I'm not doing anymore? I'm not just having loose sex and just throwing women away, right? If I have sex with you, what's that mean? That's my wife. Isn't that what I told you? Most High in Christ. You understand what I'm saying? I practice what I'm teaching, right? So Oh, what was my other question? Also like y'all. Let me just read this real quick. Reground myself. Oh, okay. So what else? But what also am I doing? So by not doing that, by not being a whoremonger, huh? I'm following the law. But let's stay on topic though. What does it mean? Reread this. You have an apocrypha, correct? Yeah, all right. So let's reread it. It says, therefore, if it be so that ye will subdue your own understanding and reform your hearts, ye shall be kept alive. I'm kept alive because what? I changed my mind. I left what I understood before was okay, right? Why am I being kept alive? Why am I why am I receiving the mercy that I'm getting? Why is any brother and or sister, that's like why is any brother or sister in the truth being kept alive in the first place? Because we gave up our worldly understanding of life and decided to follow the book of life, right? And because of that, and after death, ye shall obtain mercy. Now, mind you, that's go ahead. You have something to say. Say it. Mhm. 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 That's one way. That's one way. Okay. I'm gonna say this. I can't necessarily tell you the full. I can't necessarily expound the full extent of what that mercy goes. But yeah, that falls under the umbrella. The simple fact that when you come into when like you said, if you were to die tomorrow, Lord forbid, you were to die tomorrow when you return, um, uh, when you return, you're not gonna be born with a cleft lip. You're not gonna be born with retardation. You're not gonna be a midget. You're not gonna have, you're not gonna be cockeyed. You ain't gonna have, you know, one leg that's 6 inches longer than the other one. You're not gonna have any deformities. You understand? But also, it's you're gonna have mercy to the extent of you're not gonna be born into crack parents. You're not gonna be a crack baby. You're gonna be born into into a family, a situation where that truth just as soon as you're born, right around the corner. Right. So basically, it'll be something like for all we know, Jay, your son Jay, for all we know, in his past life, a little young buck, he might have already been in the truth at some point in time. Actually, we know he was in the truth on this earth before his life now. We know that. That's why he's coming into it again, just like you. The reason why you in this classroom right now, the reason why you were able to subdue your understanding the way that you did and reform your heart the way that you did is because you've been doing it since we've been going through all these goddamn times of oppression. You understand? That's how it is for all of us. You understand? And mind you as well, to actually come into the truth is because you did it again. You did it before. You follow what you did in your past lives. You understand what I'm saying? You're doing it all over again. Because what the scripture says, what was done before, what had been, will be again, right? This Ecclesiastes was that 3:10, or was that so like 1:10, or was that 1:9, somewhere around there in Ecclesiastes? You ain't gonna pull it. Sorry, actually, I got it right here. So yeah, 1:9, Ecclesiastes 1:9. You understand? So what you did before, you're gonna do it again. So take for example Jay. Jay, what he's doing right now, the way that he's so doggone obedient and just like, you know what, you don't even have to whip out the belt. Like he's always been like that. He's always been like that. And always before this life. You understand? So lucky. So with that being said, for all we know, in his last life, he did something. Let's say he wasn't in the truth. Let's say he wasn't in the truth in his last life to earn that mercy. He did something to earn it. He did something that the Lord was like, you know what? I'm gonna bring you into the truth your next go around. And now look where he's at. You understand? And just to glorify your son and you being a mother to him, what he had done at the Passover, just real quick. This is something that he's done before. You know what I'm saying? Shemaiah, her son right now, young man Jay, he is coming up. Never mind. Young man Jay, how old is he? 6. Young man Jay at the Passover down at the ranch. I guess there was some young brothers that was about to there was roughhousing a little bit too much for his comfortability. I guess they was actually about to get into a fight, whatever. And the young man told him, he's like, listen, if y'all gonna fight, y'all gonna play like this, y'all gonna get down like this, I don't want to play with y'all. And everybody started fighting. You understand? That right there is showing that's brotherhood that he's had before he came into the truth. He already had that in him. You understand? So, first of all, give it up for the sister Shemaiah, but also give it up for her son as well. You understand? For showing that sisterhood, and also, the sisterhood from his mother to him, but also for him following suit with that brotherhood. You understand? Now, mind you as well, was it one of the kids, one of the brothers? Okay, so one of the mothers, was it of the kids that was about to fight? That was actually about to fight? Okay, so one of the kids that was involved, they mother caught wind of all that, saw all that. And that's how me and Shemaiah have found out in the first place. Because that mother went to my brother, Shaquat Gabar, Trooper Shaquat Gabar, and told him, like, I guess, even with my long hair, I guess people get us mixed up. Everybody try to say he's my twin, but anyway, I ain't that fat yet. No, I'm just playing. He ain't fat. I'm the fat one. But went to him, and then basically he just redirected her, right? Told her to come find you. Okay. Also, when we had that Friday, I think it was Friday, right? At the kids' party, she saw you. Right. But you know what? The young man he's had that spirit. He's had that spirit. You understand? And for all we know, your mercy, not only was it that you got to come into the truth again, yeah, sure it took, 20, 27, 26? No, 27 years. It took almost 30 years, almost 3 decades for you to, come back to the truth. At least you came back to it. right? For one, but two is will, just like what we read last week in the book of Second Maccabees, in chapter 7, where the sister was like, you know what, like I hope I get to be your mother again. I hope the Lord has mercy on me to be the 7 y'all's mother again, so I can have, basically, so that she can have that glory again as a mother, to say, man, I had 7 strong sons that did not give up integrity, not even for the sake of their life. For all you know, because remember, we don't remember our past life. We already went over that. For all you know, the young man was your son in the last life. And because of the mercy and also whatever y'all got done, now mind you, I'm just kind of, speculation. I'm not teaching this, it's just speculation. For all you know, you was his mother. And that's part of his mercy. You understand? Now, your phone. Dying. Now, Salakia, I know I got buku sidetracked. Obviously, I'm going to have to teach this class the rest of this breakdown, next week. But we're going to finish what we got left. So that was verse 34. You shall obtain mercy. We all understand verse 34, right? Give up the way that you think, what you thought you knew, change your mind, man, you can get mercy. You understand? You, not only in the death of when you kill who you were before you became Shemaiah, but when you actually have a physical death and return onto the face of the earth, you'll have mercy, right? Verse 35, for after death shall the judgment come. Now, after death, your real judgment is coming, right? That through and through judgment will come. You want to be a goddamn crackhead? Now, mind you, for those of y'all that think that you can get away with being a pothead and this, that, and the other, and it's okay to smoke weed while you're pregnant and this, that, and the other, like, you're going to feel the real repercussions of that. Your child might not. You know what I'm saying? Your child might, and that's the grace of God, that your child might be born with a fully developed brain and fully functional kidneys and, just a fully functional body. You understand? A fully developed body, Salakia, while you was being a pothead that entire time that you was pregnant or leading up to the time of pregnancy. You understand what I'm saying? By the grace of the Most High God, your child's not going to face that repercussions of your sin. Because mind you, there's a lot of crack babies that do, coming out underweight, don't even get to, come out of infancy because, malnutrition and all those other complications from being a crack baby. You understand? But after you die, you're going to get the full repercussions of that judgment. You understand what I'm saying? Unless you do what? Unless you do what? Unless you change your ways. Essentially, you had something? Oh, I thought you, okay. All right. Trying to do some Harry Potter shit. Guardian Leviosa. Okay. Verse 35. For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again. Let me say that one more time. For after death shall the judgment come. After death. Dumb Christians. You dumb people where you think that you go somewhere else after you die. Let's see what that next part says again. When we shall live again. When we shall live again. That's when you're going to get your judgment. The full extent to your judgment for what you did in this life. Because mind you as well, you're not going to get the judgment for everything that you did here in this life right now. Maybe you smoke weed, cigarettes, what have you, your whole entire life. Never get cancer. Okay. But when you think you escape judgment, your next life gonna be horrible with diseases. You understand? You're gonna have all sorts. You know what? I can't even necessarily speak on it because it's for the Lord to decide how He's gonna deal with you. You understand? The Lord is gonna decide the things that He is and isn't going to barricade you from. Not barricade. Okay, you can't say barricade, but there's a word. Job, with Job, when the Lord spoke to Satan, hedge, where He's gonna put a hedge around you from to keep you blocked off from these types of, from certain types of experiences, traumatizations, what have you, huh? Yeah, there you go, circumstances. You understand? The Lord gonna lower that hedge, or I guess technically rise it up, lower it up, whatever. He gonna take away that hedge so that certain things can come into your life to happen to you if you want to be wicked. You understand? The more righteous that you be, your next life, the the better your doggone hedge is gonna be, the less it's gonna affect you. To the point where, and Lord willing, this happens to all of my Black, Hispanic, and Native American brothers and sisters. That you so righteous in this life that when you come back, you never raped, we never get molested, we don't have to deal with abusive mothers and fathers. Now, mind you, as well, we have abusive mothers and fathers because of the circumstances of our condition. Now, which means if you don't have one, an abusive mother or father, where you only get disciplined to the extent that is due when it's deserved, is because they received a form of mercy in that manner. Your parents are only acting out the way that they was raised up, essentially. You understand? So you ain't gonna have to deal with that. You don't have to deal with your parents being crackheads, potheads, heroin addicts, meth head, what have you. You understand? And mind you as well, you come into the world with both your parents under one roof. Not just until you hit a certain age, but your whole life. Where you always will have your father to lean back on and be like, man, how you doing, man? Like I'm struggling right now. I'm having a hard time. I understand that, marriage is forever, but I'm struggling right now, man. Like my marriage is it just feels like shit. And you can simply just go to your father and he'll give you that guidance. Or you can go to your mother and she'll give you that guidance and let you know, no, that's a part of the marriage for you to fall apart like that. Not fall apart, but for things to go on a downward slope like that. Right now, your marriage is being tested. Being tested right now. You understand? That relationship, man, and it goes on and on and on for the things that you will not have to go through. You understand? And mind you as well, the flip side of the coin, the things that you will have on your side. What does that already sound like? Just for your childhood alone, what does that already sound like where you don't have to worry about nothing? If you do right now, when you had a shitty ass life coming up, but yet you decide to follow the law, statutes, commandments, your next life, what does that already sound like? What's that already beginning to sound like? You have both your parents in a house, loving, caring. I have some struggles here and there, but it ain't nothing that diverts from, the family function. You understand? You don't have to worry about being molested. You don't have to worry about things that a child shouldn't worry about. What does that already sound like? What's that already sound like? What's the goal? Yeah, what's the goal? What's our goal? Don't that sound like the kingdom in itself? Don't it? Now think of the type of person that you would be if you didn't have those type of setbacks. How you would be off the now, mind you as well. Your parents follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Those of y'all that are just coming into the truth, right? Hell, even that have been in the truth, really think about, especially if you've been in the truth. For those of y'all that are just learning, how do you imagine life would be if this was your whole life? The truth was your whole life from the very beginning. You never knew what it was like to eat pork. Your parents never knew what it was like to eat pork. Because mind you, not everybody lost didn't have their father or their mother because of that stupid social stigma that the oppressor puts on us, that Black and Hispanic and Native American men and women cannot be proper parents. Some of our parents were taken away from us because of health issues, because the person who put that stigma on us, that put that, where's that called? Huh? Not standard is more close, is closer, but it's not what I'm looking for. That no, doggone requirement. It's not even social norm. It's somewhere around there. So like I'm for time's sake, I'm gonna move forward. But you don't have parents that follow under that. Also, like I kind of lost track of what I was saying. Oh, we don't always just lose our, we don't have both our parents or just one of our parents because of what the oppressor says, the type of people we are. So we have health issues as well because we're going against the Lord. You understand what I'm saying? So when you go against the Lord, you eat pork, you got high blood pressure, you got all these health issues. And now, because you prepared for your next life, you don't have to worry about those types of things. You understand? That in itself, you building the kingdom of heaven in this life. Now, when we do it as a nation, think about how simple it will be for you to just court a brother, for you to court a sister in the kingdom of heaven. You understand? It ain't gonna be necessarily a brother just trying to have just trying to get your box. There's rules to it. Think about how much easier it will be for you, fathers today that are tripping about, I know what boys want today. And you know what? I'm one of them fathers. You understand? I got a little girl. She's 2 years old. I'm ready to bust some kneecaps. I don't care. Your kneecap gonna be backwards. Touch my daughter. If you worldly. Now, so brother, Lord willing, brother in the truth is, who gets my daughter. You understand? That's my plan for her. You understand what I'm saying? But in the kingdom, I don't even have to think like that. Because in the kingdom, in our kingdom, it's going to be a social norm. It's going to be the standard. It's just going to be expected that everybody has their mother and father. The way that we look at the oppressor, the so-called white man, how we're just like, you know what? I know they grew up with their mom and dad, even though they do a shitty job. Like it. Nonetheless, even with both their parents, they still do a shitty job. Child, ends up still being a school shooter and whatnot. But in our kingdom, our children are gonna be phenomenal. Keep that in mind. You understand? You're not just setting up yourself, but you're setting up your children as well, the lifestyle for your children when you go into the kingdom. And it all starts here and now, changing yourself here and now. You understand? So we're going to finish up verse 35 and then, yeah. Verse 35, we're going to read it from the top. For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again, and then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. Man, so y'all being righteous, like it's going to be manifest in the fact that, you know, everybody's going to be able to see it. They're going to look at your living situation, and this is also why I said that to Sister Shemaiah about her son. That for all you know, the both of y'all had some ties to the truth, following the Lord in the previous life. You understand? For all you know, because of the mercy that they're receiving right now. And it's the same thing for a lot of our brothers and sisters today. It's not just her, you know, she's just the one that's in the classroom. And that's why I'm using her as the specific example. You understand? It's going to be manifest. It's going to be manifest in the sense that your son, your daughter is going to act the way that her son did, just off the rip. Has minimal teaching. But you tell his ass one time, that's it. I damn near just basically got to tell the young brother, hey, man, always remember brotherhood. And that's it. And the boy will sit there and think to himself, is this brotherly for me to do this? It's like how I taught him and his mother, do not touch no pork. That little boy, you send him off to whomever's house, and they'll cook him breakfast, buy him whatever. He'll look at it. What's in this? Mind you, this is a 6-year-old. A 6-year-old has the spirit. You understand what I'm getting at? That right there in itself is a spirit that he had from before this life, but it also comes from the mercy that the Lord has given us. You understand that? Next week, I'm gonna get back on this regeneration. You understand? This might actually take a little, a couple of weeks, just because of the fact that I also want to devote a specific class to the regeneration of Yahushua Mashiach, or Jesus Christ in the English, from, his life from being Adam to ending up to Yahushua and everybody that was in between. So you know what I'm saying? So make sure that y'all stay tuned. You understand? Like that's basically the what's that called that teachers be having in school? Learning curriculum. I like it. That's the teaching curriculum for the next couple of weeks. You understand? For the next couple of classes that I have y'all on Tuesdays. So with that, before I go and salute y'all out, make sure that you get on to ISUPK Nevada on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you thumb up or thumb down the doggone video. Share the video. Subscribe to the ISUPK Nevada YouTube page. Then make sure that you also jump over to Facebook, thumb up the video, share the video, and like the ISUPK Las Vegas Facebook page. Again, for Facebook, it's called ISUPK Las Vegas. You understand? And so with that, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Barakatam to all the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Alatham by Hashem Yahweh to all the sisters. And with that, class dismissed.